Photos represent the infinite range of colors found in the human heart. Some photos will break you down, while others will warm you up. They represent our history and some of its darkest and brightest moments. Here's a collection of 40 vintage photos that are way too powerful. This image of a Catholic missionary holding the hand of a starving Ugandan child was captured by Mike Wells in 1980. It seems artificial in many respects. It looks like the hand of an alien, or a member of another race, or anything other than a human. The operational use of the gas chambers in Auschwitz was preceded by experiments intended to find the most effective chemical agent and to work out the proper method for its use. About 600 Soviet POWs and 250 sick Poles were killed in such experimentation from September 3rd to 5th, 1941. Afterward, the morgue at Crematorium 1 in the main camp was used as a gas chamber. Several hundred people at a time were killed in this room. Dr. Zbigniew Religa previously monitors a screen amidst a maze of wires to see how his patient is doing following a heart transplant. One of his co-workers who assisted him with the surgery can be seen dozing off in the bottom right corner. The procedure lasted for 23 hours. Diego, the young boy in the picture, is sobbing at the funeral of Evandro Ju da Silva, his instructor who was killed in an attack in Rio de Janeiro in October 2009. Through his kindness and their shared love of music, Diego's instructor assisted him in escaping poverty and violence. In this photograph, a Russian soldier is seen playing an abandoned piano in Chechnya in 1994. Stunning photos of unity have emerged from Egypt's chaos as Christian protesters stood together to protect Muslims praying. A group of Christians joined hands and faced out, surrounded by hundreds of Muslim protesters who knelt in prayer. Nevin Zaki took the photographs at Cairo on February 3, 2011. Here in this picture, Major Terry Gurula embraces her daughter on her return from service in Iraq. Indian homeless men wait to receive free food distributed outside a mosque ahead of Eid al-Fitr in New Delhi, India. Tanisha Blevin, 5, holds the hand of fellow Hurricane Katrina survivor Nida Lagarde, 105, as they evacuated from the New Orleans Convention Center. The thirsty koala eagerly drank the bottled water as a brave firefighter and fed it to the displaced animal. During the horrific bushfires in southern Australia, rescue teams captured a sweetly intimate moment between one firefighter and a displaced koala. In this photograph, Muslims offer prayers on the occasion of Eid al-Fitr inside a mosque in the northern Indian city of Allahabad on August 9, 2013. The Eid al-Fitr festival marks the end of the holy month of Ramadan. Here, a 5-year-old gypsy boy can be seen on New Year's Eve 2006 in the gypsy community of Saint-Jacques-Pépignon, southern France. It is common in Saint-Jacques for little boys to smoke. In this photo, we have Zanjeer, the dog that saved thousands of lives during Mumbai serial blasts in March 1993 by detecting more than 3,329 kilograms of the explosive RDX, 600 detonators, 249 grenades, and 6,406 rounds of live ammunition. People buried him with full honors in 2000. Alcohol abuse could increase the chances of child abandonment or abuse due to its potentially destructive effects on people's brains, behaviors, and relationships. According to the American Psychological Association, spouses and children often suffer intensely due to the parents' alcohol abuse. Children may have an increased likelihood of sexual or physical abuse and neglect. Final Embrace is a photograph showing 2 victims in the rubble of the April 2013 collapse of the 8-story Rana Plaza building in Savar, Upazila, Bangladesh. This photograph was shot by freelancer photographer Taslima Akhtar and was awarded 3rd prize in the World Press Photo, single, in the Spot News category. Haing Diyu, 29, clutches his face in his hand as rain pours down on the wreckage of his home near Yangon, Myanmar's capital, Rangoon. Cyclone Nargis struck southern Myanmar in May 2008, displacing millions and killing over 100,000 people. Photographs reflect the various motivations that drive people forward in their lives, whether they are love and compassion or cruelty and ignorance. Let's move forward to another collection that we have compiled for you. Here we can see a dog named Leo sitting for the 2nd day in a row at the grave of his owner who died in the 2011 landslides near Rio de Janeiro. Wait for Me Daddy is a photograph of the British Columbia Regiment Duke of Connaught's Own Rifles, marching down 8th Street at the Columbia intersection in Westminster, British Columbia, taken by Claude P. Detloff on October 1, 1940. An old World War II Russian tank veteran discovered the old tank in which he served throughout the war, which now stands as a monument in a small Russian town. The Flower Power movement began in Berkeley, California. It was a symbolic protest against the Vietnam War. They intended to demonstrate that the peace movement was not associated with anger or violence by using non-violent objects such as toys, flags, candy, and music. Members tried to offset the rallies of the Hells Angels Motorcycle Club, which supported the war. In March 2011, a woman sat among the wreckage left by a massive earthquake and ensuing tsunami in Natori, northern Japan. Greg Cook hugs his dog Coco after discovering her inside his destroyed home in Alabama after the tornado in March 2012. The Battle of Kursk was a large-scale World War II Eastern Front engagement between Nazi Germany and the Soviet Union in the late summer of 1943 near Kursk in the southwestern USSR. It eventually became the largest tank battle in history and resulted in a Soviet victory. It marked the end of Germany's offensive capabilities on the Eastern Front and paved the way for the greatest Soviet offensives of 1944-45. During massive floods in Cuttack City, India, in 2011, a heroic villager saved numerous stray cats by carrying them with a basket on his head. Here we can see an Afghan policeman who killed 6 US soldiers this week and had tea with them before gunning them down. Investigators determined that the shooting occurred on Monday after US soldiers and Afghan National Army officers climbed a mountain in Nangarhar province for an artillery drill. During protests against austerity measures in Bucharest, a Romanian child hands a heart-shaped balloon to riot police. Lewis, who retired from the Philadelphia Police Department in 2004, has been in the spotlight several times in support of policing reform. He was cited for disorderly conduct in New York City during Occupy Wall Street in 2011 for refusing to move off the street. He was dressed in his full police uniform at the time. The Olympics of 1968. At the 1968 Olympics, African-American athletes Tommy Smith and John Carlos raised their fists in a show of solidarity. Australian silver medalist Peter Norman wore an Olympic badge for human rights to support the protest. As a result, both Americans were out of the game. Here we have John F. Kennedy Jr. joining the honor guard in saluting his father's coffin. Following a luncheon meeting during the Inter-Korean Temporary Family Reunions at Mount Kumgang Resort on October 31, 2010, a North Korean man waves his hand as a South Korean relative sobs. 436 South Koreans were allowed to spend 3 days in North Korea to meet their 97 North Korean relatives. Next, we have a dog who reunites with its owner following the tsunami in Japan in 2011. In 1943, a U.S. Marine shared his water with a kitten discovered under a burnt-out Japanese tank. Here we have Houston James, a Pearl Harbor survivor, overcome with emotion as he embraces Marine Staff Sergeant during the Dallas Veterans Day commemoration at Dallas City Hall in 2005. Mark Gronk Jr., Sergeant Gronk, was a member of a Marine Ordnance Disposal team. He was injured while defusing a bomb in Iraq in July 2004. After 4 days missing following the Japanese tsunami, a 4-month-old baby girl dressed in a pink bear suit is miraculously rescued from the rubble by soldiers. This photograph was of World War II. Here, French civilians were weeping as Nazis occupied Paris. During an inspection of the camp where he was imprisoned, POW Horace Greeley confronts Heinrich Himmler. Greeley also famously escaped from the camp and returned more than 200 times to meet a local German girl he had fallen in love with in secret. As Lyndon Johnson takes the oath of office in Air Force One, Jacqueline Kennedy wears her pink Chanel suit. It was stained with her husband's blood. It is one of the most powerful images from the list, featuring a 20-foot-wide, 5,000-pound manta ray known as the Great Manta, caught off the shore of New Jersey in 1933. In this photograph of 1965, a girl is led away by the police at the Beatles concert in Shea Stadium. She could not handle the emotion. Lastly, we have a scene from the Battle of Los Angeles. It is one of World War II's most mysterious incidents and the source of much UFO lore. That's all for today's video. For more such interesting content, give this video a big thumbs up and drop a comment. Subscribe to us for more such content, and we will see you in the next one.